So the NCAA 2023-24 financial report for UConn just released. What are the big takeaways for people who haven't read it?
Well, that financially that we're driving more revenues to the bottom line, which ultimately allows us to support our student athletes, our coaches, in our efforts to, provide unbelievable opportunities that ultimately lead to transformational experiences and to support national championship, conference championship level programs. And so by doing that without having to constantly ask for more support from the university and the state is something that we're very proud of. And so that's probably the main takeaway.
And UConn Nation is so important to the sports programs here really thriving. What does it mean to have those donors who are maybe giving annual gifts or paying for season tickets?
Well, we can't do it without them. And I think the important message is that everyone can be a part of supporting this program. And so if you come to one event and buy tickets, that's a way of supporting our student athletes, our coaches, and what we do on a day-to-day basis. And so there's different levels of support, as you can imagine. And so we need all kinds of support. And so we have tremendous opportunity moving forward to continue to drive more revenue through filling up the football stadium and through filling up all of our other sporting programs events. And so whether it's donations to the Husky Athletic Fund or contributions to the foundation to support facilities, we just appreciate everyone, and however people can support our programs, we're very appreciative.
Let's talk about revenue sharing, because that is something that could come to fruition this year. And how do you as AD plan on dealing with that?
Well, I think it's a very fluid situation right now, and I wish I could give you and our coaches exactly how it's going to play out, but we don't know yet. And the first and one of the major pieces is the House settlement. And right now that's supposed to be approved or not in the early part of April. And so there's going to be some, I don't want to say fallout, but I think guidelines that are established based on that settlement, which we look forward to knowing. We wish we were in a better situation now, because obviously we're planning for next year already, and so to not have a lot of the information doesn't help. And so we have to plan for different types of scenarios, and we're going through that exercise now. We'll continue to try to stay very in touch with what's going on, not just in the legal world, but also at the NCAA and other conference level, so we can try to do and set ourselves up for success in what really will be a different type of college athletic experience.
You said you've been here about 9 years. How different has the job become from year 1 to year 9? Because you're thinking now NIL, transfer portal, so much has changed in your tenure.
Yeah, look, the core of what we do is, in my opinion, always going to be the same. The core of what we do is we provide opportunities for young people to come to college and hopefully have a transformational experience that impacts them for the rest of their lives in different ways. And so that is always going to be the core, but all of the things around that, and how do you remain competitive nationally? And UConn has had so much historical success, not just in our basketball programs, but across the board, that our goal philosophically still is to compete for conference and national championships. And so what's changing most is the resources that are necessary to do that. And so there's lots of different ways that we can try to create resources. One of the best ways is to have competitive programs, because people like to support winning programs. But it's evolving, and I think over the next 5 years things are going to be very fluid in how we operate, what happens with conferences. I think these are all yet to be determined.
And that's a big question on a lot of fans' minds. Are we changing conferences? Are we going somewhere else? Will there be a super conference? What's your best answer to that at this point?
Well, the best answer is what I usually tell people. Look, my job is to do what I believe is in the best interest of our athletics program, our coaches, our student athletes. Obviously, I'm not the lone decision maker on this campus, and so, but certainly, I'm always going to try to recommend to our president and to our board of trustees what is going to position UConn athletics for both the short and long term. And so if there was an opportunity that presented itself, it would be something that we would have to consider. But at this point in time, we're proud members of the Big East. We're an independent football program. We have hockey programs in Hockey East. So we have lots of different relationships throughout the intercollegiate athletic world, and we're committed to providing those transformational experiences and trying to compete at the highest level. If we ever get to a place where we can't do that in our current existence, then it would require us to look elsewhere. But that's not the case right now, and we're excited to continue to compete in the Big East and Hockey East and as an independent in football.
I'm sure this is a question that you get a lot. I know a lot of fans, a lot of students, they want a football stadium on campus. They want Gamble expanded. Are there any plans to do either of those two in the future?
Well, we talk about needs and wants a lot on this campus. And what I would say is that a lot of wants we can't fund. You know, as it relates to the really big picture with football and on-campus stadium, look, I think in a perfect world, we would have an on-campus stadium, but we don't live in a perfect world, and we have a great facility. It just happens to be 20 minutes down the road, and right now, the biggest priority for us is to have a year-in, year-out competitive football program. And Coach Mora and his staff have done a great job over the last 3 years of putting us in a position where we're coming off a great year, and we have a chance to have as good or better year next year. And so that's really where our focus is right now. We need to fill up the facility that we have. I think it's hard to start talking about wanting to have something else when you're not even filling up what you have. And so we've got to do a great job on a day-to-day basis continuing to build football so that we can get back to the place where things were when the rent opened, where that thing was sold out. So, you know, my challenge to people would be is if we want to talk about something new, let's fill this place up first. You know, as it relates to anything else, Gamble, we're going to invest in Gamble. It's long overdue. We've been doing little things here and there, but we're fortunate that we're going to have some money to really invest and create some things for our fans and student athletes. So when they come experience this building, it's going to be better for them.
Anything else you wanted to add, you know, as you look forward to the 2025-26 academic year? Is there a certain focus that you have?
Well, I think we've talked a little bit about it. I think the whole evolution over the next 6 months about revenue sharing is going to really play probably the biggest priority for not just myself, but all of us that are in this situation where we're leading athletic programs. There's just, you know, there's a lot that goes into that. That currently, you know, there's a lot of things that we do that you can go to a staff and say, hey, we're going to add this to your set of responsibilities. But there's so much that's new with respect to this area that it's going to require more staff to manage these things, because we're not talking about small types of responsibilities. You're talking about distributing money to individuals, and that's very important. And we're talking about potential contracts with current and future student athletes. So there's a lot that is that's involved in that undertaking. We're trying to think about the world differently and how we do things, potentially having an in-house agent, so that the university, i.e. athletics department, is a part of the representation of student athletes, because right now we've never had the need for that, but now we're dealing with, our coaches are dealing with, our collectives are dealing with all of these agents that are representing our student athletes. And why wouldn't you want to have someone that has professional agency experience dealing with other agents in those types of conversations? So we're really taking a hard look at, everything that we do and how we do it. What can we do better? What don't we need to do anymore? Because the priorities are changing.
And last thing I just thought of, high pressure job, super busy, you're always on the go, but it's pretty cool to be the athletic director for the UConn Huskies, I have to imagine.
Well, look, I feel very fortunate to have been provided the opportunity. I'd like to think that we've done a great job. Since we've been here, we've got a lot of new facilities, which wouldn't have happened without all the support on campus and externally with all of our donors. Success, really comes down to our coaches. My job is to try to support them and provide them the resources that they need and let them go out and put their teams together and execute. And so, look, we're at a really good point in time. We've got national championships here over the last several years. We got a men's ice hockey team that is sitting right now fourth in the pairwise, which is the highest that program has ever achieved. We have a women's ice hockey team that won its conference and went to the NCAA tournament for the very first time ever. A football team that just came off, a historic year for that program, because we really haven't been playing Division I FBS football for that long. And so, look, I'm proud of the accomplishments of all of our program. Our student athletes, are just amazing individuals. So, I'm very fortunate and happy. As far as it being a cool job, I think that's for everyone else's opinion. I just am worried about doing the best I can for our student athletes and coaches.